I was born in Mexico, but I started school and I went to school in Durban and KwaZulu-Natal. Philip Guston has a very interesting quote which I like, and he's a painter that I much admire. And he says, like, when you're starting a painting or when you're in the room with a painting, I'm paraphrasing, there are many people in the room. There's the critics, there's the curators, there's other artists, there's your peers, there's your heroes, and the room is very full. But as you make the work, the room gets emptier, and if it's going very well, you leave too. And I really like that as you're having many conversations, but actually what you want in the end is for the room to be quiet and for something else to happen. I think when you leave too, it's that's something else that you don't intend, that you don't plan. When I kind of come to start a work or in my studio itself, I feel like I think the term I use is like culling things. I need to pull so many things into my space, and I have a very good printer. I'm endlessly printing things, and whether it's pictures on Instagram or something that someone's WhatsApped to me from the family group, or whether it's things I'm cutting out of magazines, and it's kind of working. It's just things that I'm strongly drawn to, or it could be a strange color, or I like the way maybe I've printed something and water's fallen on it and then it's kind of stained and gone luminescent. It's a whole world I kind of need to pull in and collect and gather, and then I not cut up, but then I kind of have a big wall, and I kind of sort of start looking for like links or ideas, or start drawing from those, like literally drawing or doing watercolors and starting pulling together things. Generally how it works is I might have a real arrangement, or there might be a real hibiscus flower in my garden that I kind of bounce from and build upon. But then I love, like, if someone gives me a birthday card, and it's also important for me that it references images of the world, and I also look at historical paintings of still lifes. Those are very important. I look at Manet's, I look at all of those things, and you want to pull them in, but you also want to reference the world around me. So yeah, I love those stereotypical birthday card images, or the ones that you see in magazines. I kind of want to pull everything together, or like, bouquets I see at friends' houses or things, and I kind of build a whole sort of story and start sketching or getting some ideas. But really, when you start moving into something of a scale that size, it kind of does take on a life on its own. Initially, when the works became very thick, it's about layers of mistakes, and for me the mistakes are very meaningful. And the surface, even with some of the first early still lives I was doing, they literally scraped, and the thickness of the paint is when you scrape and you remove the mistakes. It was important for me for everything to be visible, like nothing's hidden. All the mistakes are there for you to see, and it's the literal layers of the mistakes that is the meaning of the work. And you can see all the decision-making processes. Works that have been seen in different contexts, such as an art fair, or maybe, as you say, a space which not as many people would have access to it. And for me, it's also, a museum. Kids come, and I want everyone to be able to engage. And I love seeing kids come to see, I think when we last showed, like, Lover's Discourse, it's I want works to be able to be read on different levels. So I love that children get excited about the glitter and the wobbly eyes and the squidginess. That's important. But then it's also important for a different level of audience, or someone who maybe wants that there is a bigger story to it, and it's there to be understood. But it's also nice that kids just like the sparkly stuff. I do too. When I was young, I don't remember going to museums and that. I remember going to like hotels and seeing art in like hotel lobbies and foyers and loving that, that sort of scale. And I think there's a way of wanting to match some of these, early experiences, understanding of art, but I also want to entertain or communicate effectively or get people interested. And I think with that, it's making a successful image, but then also wanting to solve something on a broader level. But the meaning must come afterwards. You mustn't be knocked over the head with it. It's also it's about wooing a viewer to come and want to understand it themselves.
Georgina works between portraits on the one hand and then these huge still lifes on the other hand. And I'm always interested in seeing how the tension of the portraits, this intense scrutiny, is released in this exuberance of the still lives. So the exhibition is loosely divided around these two themes. And then within the portraits, we are looking at portraits of, which we're calling Meet the Family, portraits of family, people who are close to them, which in my observation of these works and looking at these works became clear that it's more about a certain interiority, a closeness, as if these works are painted from the inside out. It's not necessarily about the likeness of the person. And this stands in contrast to the second section, which we've titled Meet the Archetypes. And these are works that Georgina is taking from the internet, from social pages, from, you know, like a magpie, she goes through a lot of sort of visual imagery and sort of extracts these portraits of types, really. And these are the types of our, you know, of our contemporary moment and our contemporary society. So we have collectors, we have, you know, a happy couple, and really the exhibition works between these two poles of depicting people.